So imagine this, you're flying halfway around the world, going into the jungle, you find a place online maybe, you're sitting in ceremony and nothing happens. Or worse, you have this confusing, hard journey, you feel like maybe you're possessed or the confusion deepens. And it doesn't mean that ayahuasca doesn't work, but maybe you feel like it's not working for you. And a lot of people don't talk about this, but they should. You know, we should definitely be having more conversations about ayahuasca and psychedelics in general. In this video, I'm gonna talk about why some people don't feel anything, or they feel like they don't feel anything. They don't get answers or leave more confused. And there's a lot of reasons why this can happen. I see it all the time. They can be psychological, energetic, physiological. But I believe that psychedelics is part of this mysterious creation. They're there for us as tools that we can use. And they usually find us at the right time. And they start calling us usually first. So if you're doing it because someone told you to do it, that's kind of like the first X. But if someone mentions to you and it sparks your curiosity, a lot of times like these plants will start calling to you. And I'm going to help you to try to shift these experiences you might have and turn it into deep growth, even if the medicine itself seems to fail you or you believe that. A lot of times it comes down to beliefs. So you probably hear about people talk about these life-changing journeys. I'm one that talks about it. If you follow my podcast, Geocast, you hear me talking about all my journeys all the time. And then you wonder why it didn't happen for me. You know, did you go expecting something to happen, a breakthrough, but left asking, did I do it wrong? Is there something wrong with me? Why does it work for everyone? You have like trip envy. People are having these huge experiences and it wasn't for me. But sometimes it could be that the medicine is very smart. Like 30 people get the same medicine, everyone gets a unique experience dialed in for them. And maybe it gave you exactly what you needed, even if it wasn't what you expected. Question yourself more. Do I really need this? Is there something wrong with me? We start questioning ourselves, that's kind of like one of the first steps into self-growth and self-awareness. So expectation is the thief of presence always, you know, and in the Western mindset, it's all about transactional healing. I take this, I paid, and I want my breakthrough. You know, I gave you money, I travel all the way down here, I need something out of it. But the Great Mother doesn't operate on demand and on transactional kind of ledger, you know. And just make sure like you're not just going to trip. I heard it's cool. I want to go check it out. Because that's usually when you're asking for disaster. Someone begged you to come along with them. Sometimes you'll have an experience, and a lot of times you might leave with more questions than answers. Well, you're usually going to leave with more questions than answers. Sometimes your nervous system is stuck in hypervigilance. That's another reason why it doesn't work. The body doesn't feel safe enough to surrender. You go onto the jungle. There's all these new things that worry you. Maybe you have a trauma freeze response, can block the medicine. Psychedelics in general, they require a certain amount of parasympathetic safety, your nervous system, for emotional processing. And if you're too scared, especially you don't trust the people there, you're with a bunch of strangers, you don't know who the shaman is, you don't even know if he's a real shaman, that can really get your nervous system kind of shut down. People talk about energetic spiritual blocks, you know, resistance to facing their shadow, attachments to identity, suffering, or control. That ayahuasca is going to show you who you are. And if it shows you something you don't like, some people resist that and they'll block it. And it's a lot about surrendering, which is not easy, especially the first time, because there's all these new things coming up. The medicine is really waiting for you to show up differently, to drop your guard and say, okay, I'm ready, be humble, and I'm here to be a student. And I surrender fully. When you have that trust, which is something you got to build, you get deeper and deeper experiences. The other thing is some people have genetics that don't respond well to ayahuasca. They're on medication, SSRIs, that, you know, it can make it a lot worse, even dangerous. Some people have something wrong with their gut microbes affecting the alkaloid absorption. So a lot of reasons on the physiological side that it might not work. So it might not be nothing wrong with you. There's just some things you need to work on. And a lot of the times, the medicine is working just not how you think. The ceremony usually starts the moment you say yes, not when you drink. Things will start happening before you go there, almost like magic. I have some really cool stories that blow my mind. And sometimes the things that you realize happen months, weeks, even years later. Sometimes the lesson is disappointment itself and bring you into this place of, okay, like everyone got this thing on ayahuasca, but not me. And it gets you to reflect. And this is what's most important, is reflecting. Because the trip alone, the experience is not where the magic is. It's the little things you take out and now bring it into the real world. You know, what are you going to do with this new information? And I see a lot of people that get addicted to the next ceremony. They chase that peak, that high, those experiences, and it keeps them in the same loop. They go back, they don't make any changes. They just wait for the next time they can go, or they find something else that they can take that's going to help them to escape rather than to face what they need to face. Healing itself isn't in the actual brew, it's in the integration, you know, and are you actually attending ceremonies or just trying to avoid something in real life? And how are you integrating? You know, integration can mean a lot of things, daily practice, but I think the main thing in integration is that deep reflection, creating a space and then really contemplating. And when it really doesn't work, sometimes it happens, That's okay. Sometimes it's not the right medicine. People say like sometimes they like iboga or mushrooms and they really connect with that. And maybe other modalities may be needed first to help get you a little bit more open, like breath work, somatic therapy, even like talk therapy. Because not every key fits every lock. So, you got to be on this journey. And prepping yourself by contemplating, doing some breath work, some meditation is my best recommendation before you go into it. The medicine didn't fail you. It invited you to become the medicine because you are the actual medicine. Your healing isn't something you find in the jungle, in a cup, in a book. It's how you choose to show up every day after that experience, whether it's breath work, even in a book. It's when you have an insight, how do you now, when something resonates with you, bring it into your life? Because the real ceremony is life itself. The ayahuasca will help to show you who you are and who you can be, but then it's up to you to make that change. So it's not a magic fix. It's actually more of a mirror. If nothing happens, I promise you something's still happening deeper. In the jungle, in the tradition of the Yahe, they talk about this one experience called the nada. You drink a cup, you go to sleep, and you wake up. And say that's one of the deepest, most profound experiences. And this could be a marketing ploy, I don't know. But they're saying those, if you'd have seen what it had to show you, have been like too challenging, too overwhelming. It would have been very hard. So it puts you to sleep so it can go and rewire something in your DNA, in your ancestral, maybe there's some ancestral trauma or something like that. Final note here is true healing happens in everything you do outside the ceremony. So any experience, you go to an event, whatever, you have an aha moment, a takeaway, it's now, okay, I need to apply this into my everyday life. I hope that makes sense. If you're considering going, I love going to a place called Rhythmia. It's beautiful. It's well done. They think of every single thing to make the experience like dialed in. They have programs there. So if you want to come join me there, I'm there a few times a year and would love to meet you if you want to go on a deep dive and meet the mother herself. But if not, start with breathwork. Click the link below, I'll give you some tracks for free to get you started.